Um, wow. I was just sitting here a while ago thinking about the Hurricanes, about the season they've had this season thus far. Um, and this goes back to when we got rid of a few players and brought Stankoven and Jankowski on. Even though Jankowski wasn't the major story that during that time, it was Stankoven and Taylor Hall. And we brought in Taylor Hall at that same time. And then fast forward, we needed some goalie props because Kochetkov got hurt. And so we brought in Brandon Bussi. And I want to talk a little bit about Brandon Bussi. And also, it reminds me of another player that was undrafted, Jalen Chatfield. And I want to talk about how these players, and I'm specifically going to focus in on I'm going to focus in on Brandon Bussi and Jalen Chatfield just because of that. They were undrafted. Both of these guys have that one thing in common. Brandon Bussi had pretty much come into this wanting to get into the NHL, but then realized that, maybe the NHL isn't in my future. And he settled in and played hockey and played it at a next level in the AHL for years, for a little while. And just one day, it was like it was almost meant to happen. He's on his way to Charlotte to play with the Checkers and gets the phone call. Hey, you need to not go to Charlotte, but you need to go to Raleigh. You are a member of the Carolina Hurricanes now. I don't really know what his thought pattern was after that. Was it, holy crap, I'm going to play for the NHL? Or was it, okay, I've been traded to the Wolves to play in Chicago? But then when he got that other phone call, hey, no, you're playing for the Canes in the NHL. The sentiment of, and the words of Kyle Busch, the NASCAR driver that recently passed away, just a couple of weeks before he passed away, he said, hey, you don't know when your next one's coming, meaning your next win or your next race or your next game. And I feel like a lot like with Jalen Chatfield, Bussi took that opportunity and seized the moment and proved himself. He came in and did what the Hurricanes hired him to do. The most winningest goalie in the NHL at that particular time when he was playing goalie for Carolina before he had his weak streak. More wins than any other goalie in that shorter period of time. Now, I know there's question about, well, what's he going to do next season? How is he going to handle that next season? Because as a player, and here I am, I played competitive sports, not hockey, certainly not hockey, but I played baseball, I played basketball, I played football. And each year in each one of those sports, I was competitive against other teammates. I was competitive against the other team, but I was most competitive against myself and wanting to make myself better. And I had teammates who cared enough to help me do that. And one of those teammates who's no longer here helped me in ways not just on the basketball court, but in life. And Bussi, Jalen, and all these other ones who come in and they're undrafted, they have those same people in their lives. And I can see it in Jalen Chatfield, and I definitely see it. I definitely see it in Jalen Chatfield in this playoffs. And I definitely see it in Bussi in this playoffs, in this Stanley Cup championship run. Jalen Chatfield, to me, seems to have grabbed another gear and shifted gears into a higher gear this season in the playoffs versus other seasons that he's played with the Hurricanes. Not to say that he wasn't good then, but he seems to be better now than what he was last season, even though his goals and points might not show it, but he's getting the job done. He was getting the job done last season and the season before. But this season, he shifted it up another notch. Brandon Bussi never really thought that he would. I mean, I'm pretty sure that was still in the back of his mind that, hey, one day I may still have a chance to play in the NHL. But with each year, that seemed to get slimmer and slimmer to almost none. And he's here, and he's making the most of it. And Carolina is better off for it. I know they say, well, next season he'll hit his slump, or maybe he won't do as good next season. But you know what? That's next season. That's for us to deal with next season. Right now is the time that we deal with that. Right now is the time that he's shining. He's making it. He's doing it. Jalen Chatfield, same thing. Andersen has had a tremendous playoff in the net. He went 8-0, 8-0 before he lost his first game in the playoffs. Never seen that from Andersen since he's been with the Hurricanes. Never. Now, other commentary, as well as myself and Josh, we've said it year after year. When Freddie's healthy, he's great. But he starts to decline a little bit in the playoffs. We saw that, and that's why they put Bussi in net. Who are they going to start tomorrow? Do you stick with Bussi and ride him for another game? Or do you switch up and put Andersen in? Because Andersen's good after he's rested up. My thought is you stick with the hot hand. I mean, that's what Brenda Moore is notorious for, and I think that's what they may do. I think right now, either way, if they go Andersen or if they go Bussi, they can't go wrong. That's just my thought. That's just my opinion. I don't think that they can go wrong if they go that route. If they decide, hey, we want Andersen, or hey, we want Bussi, I don't think they can go wrong. I really don't. I think that either way will be fine. It's just, okay, if they go with Andersen, what are you looking for? If they go with Andersen, are you looking at, okay, if you get X number of goals scored on you, we're pulling you and putting Bussi in? Or if you go with Bussi and we lose, regardless, either one of them, if we lose and we go to a game 7, who do you start? Who do you put in there? It depends on who you start this game, right? That's what I would think. Maybe they start Andersen and he's playing lights out, and they do a switcheroo just because they want to confuse the other team. Maybe they switch Andersen out for Bussi in game 6 and confuse the Golden Knights and say, and don't even, hey, just do it on the fly, just to mix things up a little bit. Maybe they start Bussi and pull him and put Andersen in halfway through the game just to mix it up a little bit, and then go and start Andersen and swap out Bussi in game 7 if it goes to game 7. Who knows? It would be something interesting to see, right? And, with the line mix-ups that we've had the past couple of games, who knows? That may be the best medicine. That may be what works and wins the game tomorrow. Just some thoughts. But remember, Bussi and Chatfield are undrafted. They came into NHL undrafted, unknowns. And the one that has gone unmentioned by us, the very one that has gone unmentioned by Josh and myself, Eric Tulsky. Wow, what a job. What a job. I think he deserves the MVP of the team right now. I mean, because he's looking genius. I mean, hey, and even win, lose, or draw, he's looking that way. So, just some thoughts I've had. Just wanted to pass them on. Tomorrow night's game, Game 6 in Vegas, Carolina versus the Golden Knights. Let's go, Canes!